Okay, enough already. We're done with this anyway, we don't need this anymore. Mindstorm, released in 1982 for the almighty VECTREX Arcade System. As a matter of fact, this was the built-in game for the VECTREX that you could play by turning on the system without inserting a game cartridge. So if you bought a VECTREX Arcade System, chances are you have Mindstorm built into the console. What a concept. Mindstorm at first glance bears a striking resemblance to Atari's Asteroids. Except instead of space rocks, you're blowing away space mines. In any event, the premise is fairly similar. You control a little ship, steering with the stick, you have a thrust button to move the ship forward, as well as an escape button, which is essentially your hyperdrive gimmick that pops you to another part of the playfield. Your goal, naturally, is to clear the screen of mines, which first appear as little dots like stars in the background, but eventually grow into big mines as you start to clear away more mines from the screen. Once all the mines are cleared away, you move on to the next wave, where you're introduced to new types of dangerous mines, including those that fire back when you kill them. At times, a mine layer ship will drop by and drop more bombs into the field, which is something, I guess. On the surface, Mindstorm is a perfectly fine Asteroids knockoff. The gameplay might not be entirely original, but it's still pretty fun and challenging. Control works rather nicely, though the thrust is a bit touchy, requiring light taps for short movements, while pressing down will cause the ship to rocket forwards at high speeds, often into another mine. The introduction of new mine types certainly helps in keeping the players on their toes. As far as pack-in titles go, or built-in titles in this case, Mindstorm is certainly one of the better ones. However, one major flaw with Mindstorm is that after 13 levels of play, the game crashes and you have to reset the VECTREX. This was a bug that allegedly was never fixed because, according to Jay Smith, the father of VECTREX, nobody at his company could get past level 13, so they just left it in. But then a week after the system's release, his son managed to clear level 13 and crash his VECTREX, prompting him to ask his old man, "What the fuck, Dad?" They eventually made a fixed version called Mindstorm 2, which had 89 levels, and is apparently one of the rarest VECTREX games out there, amazingly enough. Fortunately, there's a VECTREX multi-card gimmick that includes this and 99 other games for far cheaper, which I feel is a worthy investment to any VECTREX library if you're somewhat frugal. But I digress. Mindstorm begins each round with a cutscene of a spaceship dropping mines, and it looks good for vector-based technology. The actual game itself also looks fairly decent with its basic geometry posing as ships and mines, but at the very least everything runs at a decent pace. Explosions aren't amazing, but they look the part at least. Sound is also fairly decent, some nice explosions and shots fired, and the ominous tune that plays during the intro cutscene is a nice touch. Overall, if you have a VECTREX, you have Mindstorm. A fun game to get your feet wet in that particular pool of VECTREX gaming, and while Mindstorm might not score points for originality, it's still a pretty good game that stays true to its source of inspiration. A worthy title to build into your almighty VECTREX Arcade System. And that concludes almost-Vectrex week, not counting Sunday's review. I'm going to bed. See you on June 19th. Later.